Yeah, I thought I'd just direct a message out there. Hope everyone on YouTube's doing well. Joe Rogan, Alex Jones. Now, I sat there the other day, and a mate and my friend from the Bronx actually informed me about the broadcast that you did on the Joe Rogan show, and where you were talking about going into the deepness of what reality really is. And Alex, I'm 100% with you on the Natural DMT release, buddy. I've had it since I've been a child that was born into this matrix, and I've always understood things that I couldn't understand. And what you are explaining is not the connection to a extraterrestrial, interdimensional manifestation of consciousness being. It's the consciousness source of the one that directs the full physical reality in accordance of what it wants all the time. And where you're going right now with what you're saying on the show, you're getting there. You're understanding that this whole world is a construct and the things that are in it are done for reasons, and that basically that you say the break-off society. Now, the break-off society that you're talking about in self is not a break-off society. It is the code of consciousness that has to be influenced inside of this matrix simulated reality for us to get the realization of what it is to return to spirit. And spirit is that immortal consciousness that's stuck inside, and that essence, that spirit, that electromagnetic signature inside of your body that's connected through tether to the outside, to the giant brain, that then goes outside to the spirit, to what we call where heaven was. And what you're explaining within this little broadcast that you're doing here, I'm only 47 minutes into it, and I'm pretty sure I'll probably add some more to this, but you're talking about the DMT release. Now, with DMT released, yes, there is a synthetic block. Now, if you take synthetics, like you're talking about the government taking synthetics and trying to communicate to interdimensionals, well, synthetic creates a subconscious block because of the system belief program that's already there and the intent that's used and based. So you're not ever sitting there in the neutral and never sitting there with no judgment first, be able to connect through to what is really there. And what is really there is the infinite source of all creation that we call God, which is that positive and negative, or that masculine and feminine energy that then combines, creates the neutral, and then through vibration frequency manifests energy into the physical construct in design of accordance of what it should be for us as spirit in the training ground to realize what everything is. And it's all just a lesson to return us back to understand that there are so many programs inside of this physical construct that always give you a mindset and a influence to change your paradigm to the right or left, or the good or bad, so you can never ever see what everything's really designed at as accordance with God. Because as you know, we are all children of God. We are all spirits inside of a physical body having an experience, and the world was created through unconditional love. And to understand that it was all created through unconditional love, you cannot see all of the physical manifestations that are inside of this energy construct, because like you're explaining now, is there a energy field that connects from the human consciousness that leaves the singularity signature of the individual's consciousness that connects outside and goes to something bigger? Of course there is. It's the infinite consciousness of all everything that's the pure source of creation. And we ourselves, through the cell phone technology that you're talking about, I talk about this in the book myself, which I wrote in 2016, that cell phones themselves are actually using the same frequency of the brain to give us the realization of, wow, this is how we can really communicate. It's not our conscious way of thinking now. The subconscious already knows that it's telepathic and can actually communicate through frequency and send thought initiative programs or thought forms to another once understanding of the connection is established. And the cell phone technology right now, as it's getting more influenced and pushed inside of the matrix, is teaching you that everything is invisible through this signal, but yet this signal is reaching another individual, and then you're talking through them. And basically this is teaching you again to remember from your consciousness that you can communicate through telepathic means to another individual of consciousness. And we are taking this whole reality through technology, as you're talking about. It's a mind fuck big time, because like you said, you have your breakaway society, but the breakaway society isn't really a breakaway society when you understand everything inside this physical construct is always in design of the one pure design of the consciousness that wants on the inside. And we as spirit on the outside create this game all the time, and we send messages that are for, well, you go into spirituality and it's called your inner child and everything like that, but it's nothing to do with the inside inside of what you are as human psyche. It's the outside that's actually there in the realm that we call heaven on that electromagnetic device board that we manifest this simulated reality from, which is a form of nothing but consciousness energy itself. So when you understand that it's all consciousness energy itself, you are infinite and immortal, and everything inside of this physical construct is non-existent. So how can you then put a blame game or a judgment program to give something that's inside of nothing an actual meaning, to give it a left or right paradigm or bad or good, when nothing itself really is existent except for unconditional love of creation and the ability for a spirit that only feels divine love as all the time on the outside of experiencing physicality to come into physicality and then start to broaden its horizons by understanding what all of those other electromagnetic signatures and frequencies of physicality and what that really feels like, and to experience all of these other different vibrations and different states of patterns of vibrations that we call emotions inside of this physical construct that we as spirit can't even get anywhere near any kind of experience of unless we create this constructed simulated reality through vibration and thought form. So that's where I'm going to leave that at right now, and I'm going to continue watching. I totally agree with Alex Jones on the natural DMT, that when you have sleep apnea, I myself have suffered from sleep apnea. I'm a big lad. I've always had trouble with oxygen all my life, hence my body. And when I was brought into this world, I had an implanted image that was there to remind me of energy, and that was put into my third eye. Even though my third eye was activated as a child, I had no understanding of what this image was there for. And later on in life, I found out myself it's all natural DMT release. I've never used synthetics DMT. I don't need that. I have the full understanding from the full source of the one creation that it reveals everything of inside and out of all creation. And Alex, I want to get you a bloody book, mate. I really do. I want to get you a book. I really hope you find this, because what you have said in this broadcast has made me just jaw drop, because I understand everything of inside of out of all of creation, and I read it down in a book in 2016 that is there to wake everyone up. The full reason, the truth behind what the earth really is, what we really created from, what everything's really going to be. And you're understanding already that there are programs that can shift consciousness, and the Mandela effect, if you know about it or not. I haven't watched this actual documentary fully and into it yet, but the Mandela effect was that one of those trial runs to understand of how that human consciousness can be shifted. And we are pushing in the future to understand this is nothing but a virtual reality simulated game, and we're going to start to understand and create it in accordance to understand that. And even if this one world agenda, everything like that, we're pushing 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's only because duality law creates everything of all existence, but duality law is one set, and one set is what creates everything. There's always that two that's one, and we can understand that what everything really is, and that's what it's always going to push for in its design from the one pure source of consciousness from the outside that we manifest from spirit, that we are trying to make everyone inside remember that the world is not individual, the world is not skin color, the world is not race, the world is not stereotypical egotistical minds trying to program what they believe of what reality really is that reality can be seen as a factual of what it really is once you understand that everything is created in the law of duality, and it has a reason and a purpose of that duality. Just like when you go into biblical fashion, you can go into understanding that there was a Satan and a God, which is actually fabrication, but it's also that teaching of that positive and that negative that combines, that gives people that understanding of why does God do such bad things to such good people, and all of these mysteries of God, because God always works in that mysterious way, and the mysterious way that has always been is duality. No one's actually just decided to say, well, God basically works backwards. And the reason why God works backwards is because our conscious mind can never ever see outside of this constructed physical matrix. And the subconscious is always connected through that electromagnetic tether that connects out to the outside, not in a dimension, or goes through all your quantum dimensions, because you've got to remember that inside of this simulated construct, it's designed in quantum, just like a quantum computer, which has infinite parallel realities accordance to it. So you go through so many mirrors that you go through it, then everything then ceases to exist. manifest, then you can understand that we actually communicate with ourselves quantumly as our own singularity in our own quantum field of our own collective before we can get into the singularity the full collective of everyone doing that as a full collective that manifests the physical construct throughout all quantum design. So everything is like that. Then that there itself is what we call life, the top of the tree of the life. And then you go to the outside and it's the spirits that manifest as physical reality, and us as being a consciousness energy right there and there on the outside, and what you want to deem heaven or nirvana or even whatever you want to call it on the outside. And it's the inside that we get in the messages. We get the message from there that sends it as a message inside of this physical construct, but it always is received as something that's created by the conscious instead of the subconscious direct, because of the way that we've had this indoctrination that's trained us only that the conscious mind is the main mindset, when the 30,000 times stronger subconscious should be the manifestation center and understand exactly where we come from. And when we get the ability to return back to the subconscious, which many programs inside of this physical construct right now are leaning towards, is to retrain us to use the center subconscious to actually think from and manifest from and to understand everything of reality. Hence people using DMT and synthetic drugs and also other drugs that are left inside of this physical construct to allow you to get that synthetic connection, but always to be blocked by your own subconscious intent and your own subconscious thought initiative program, without having your own natural released DMT from the pituitary and the pineal gland itself, and then experiencing what it is to be in the afterlife while you're still alive right now, and then explaining from what it is from first-hand experience. And Alex, mate, I really want to get you this book, buddy. Fucking please hit me up. I'm going to try to get hold of you as much as I can, because what you have said is that you are awake. You need this book that I've created, mate, because this book is what the answers and all the way that you can explain every single thing that you understand. It's all a jumbled puzzle piece at the moment for you, and it's because you can see the giant picture of everything. And what you're saying, bro, is fucking good, because the way that you were coming across to a lot of people for a long time is that you were a shill, and you were starting to use influence from the globalists to try to push their agendas towards people and to understand what people are saying, that, like you said, Sandy Hooks and stuff like that, which honestly I've never even heard of anyone badmouth you for Sandy Hook, so I don't know whether that's a Mandela effect for me or what, but I also haven't followed anything like this conspiracy stuff for a long time, and I was just blown away by this interview that you're having with Joe Rogan. And what you say, Alex, is exactly right, mate, with the consciousness, the inner dimensionals. Now, the inner dimensionals themselves aren't what you think. They're not alien as such, but they are alien, but they are the same electromagnetic signature and consciousness of our own quantum fields, of our own quantum collective of consciousness. It's just that the vibration frequencies of the physical manifestation changes so much as it pushes through so many mirrors, and then you have these different vibration patterns of consciousness that then the outcome of the physical, like the habitat, the physical body, the realm, actually turns out to be a totally different something that you've never seen before, and can keep changing and changing and changing and changing until it becomes so incoherent to even understand what it's really about, because that can't exist. But it does exist once you can change those vibrational frequencies and push so much far through those quantum mirrors of design. And this is where you're going, Alex. But in the book, mate, I'm explaining everything that you've said. I'm explaining why we've got this consciousness, where we are, what it's really about, who's the one that's actually directing everything all the time, and how it's always directing everything all the time, the influence of technology that manifests us to return back to the idea of what spirit is and consciousness, because let's just understand out there, people that understand spirit and soul, what you're understanding is your consciousness energy signature of electromagnetics that's self-aware. That's all it is. You do not have a soul. We can now tell you exactly what it is. It's your self-awareness and your electromagnetic energy that's connected to the giant tether on the outside that allows everything accordance inside to be pushed by direction and message. And this is what it's all about, seeing the true messages of God. The whole of reality around us is created by God in accordance of what it should always be all the time. So us finding problems within this physical construct is then using judgment programs to turn around and say, well, that can't be of God because that's of that. But in reality, if you're going to say that, you have to say that God itself is good and bad, because there is only one that created everything, and everything inside of this construct is through higher vibrational frequencies of positive and lower vibrational frequencies of negative that manifest different visual outcomes and different algorithms of people that basically are manifested as a simulated computer construct, as a mainframe frame that then actually has to have those higher and lows, and you have to have these other experiences, because how can you have the highest without the lowest? Everything just wouldn't work in accordance to design of what that electromagnetic energy that manifests all life really is. So, I really hope that you get back to me. This book, Alex, you're right there, buddy. You are right there. I'm so fucking amazed. I'm so proud as well to hear someone else understand exactly what the fuck everything really is, and talking about it in such a way that they're speaking straight mainstream on the Joe Rogan show, mate. And for you to express that you've been releasing natural DMT all of your life because of the sleep apnea, and basically what I've known all the time as well is that you get that oxygen cut. And when you get that oxygen cut, you fucking die. You know, you are experiencing dying. I go into bad states of panic attacks, and I can tell you right now, when in them states of panic attacks, they're not panic attacks. I've almost fucking died. And I've had other people that are in energy work, etc., tell you that that's your spirit trying to escape all the time. It doesn't want to experience this anymore, and it knows it can jet. So there's that flight or fight, what we call inside of this physical construct, which is only a psychology program. But when you can understand that this is only basically a physical experience game that we wanted as a spiritual essence to come into, then we can log in and log out, and there's no fucking judgment in that. It's just like a normal game. It's just that people don't understand at the moment that they have an infinite consciousness that can just manifest for infinite, and the only way that we're ever going to actually create this game on the outside, the simulated construct, to slow down and shut, is for us on the inside to do what we do on the outside. And on the outside, we telepathically create through energy. We manifest this one source, which is called the consciousness of God, or God, or in the inside, and we on the inside work by individual means from the conscious, because the conscious is the one that's fucking the program up, when we should be thinking straight from the subconscious, which the subconscious will already tell us that we're all one already on the inside. So start getting rid of all these programs of indoctrination that take us apart and split diversity, when we ourselves should actually be one on the inside, and we can then return back to understand what it is to log out of the simulated game for what it really is. Because at the moment we are stuck in the reincarnation program that basically we get to choose through free will. There is no this is what you did in the last life or anything like that. Everything is free will of design, and it's all the programming of your subconscious experience and your intent and the manifestation of what you understand that's to come, that then you create. If you always sit on that left or right, if you never see it as neutral, you never see the truth of existence, and that's just how everything is. So I'll leave it at that. It's a 20-minute rant, so I hope someone out there gets this to you, Alex. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of you because, mate, you're a fucking wake, and you understand that consciousness is immortal. You understand where we're going. And in this book, I prove that everything around us has always been a simulated construct. I use factual evidences. I prove that I talk about exactly my DMT releases, exactly what I've experienced my entire life, and the paranormal experiences that I've had when I did use drugs and stuff like that. But I also explain why this has happened. I don't say this just happened because I was fucking high. I explain exactly the reason and why this message was put forward into the Matrix for me to get a realization as a kid, basically for me to understand later on in life now that when I understand everything from that natural DMT all of my life, I can understand why that was created there too. And at the time I had no fucking idea, because hey, I was just happy-go-lucky, running amok, doing what you do when you're young, you know what I mean? So peace, love, and respect to you both. And Alex, mate, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm up to 48 minutes, but I have to put this up because the stuff that you're saying is absolutely amazing. I've been saying it since 2016, and I have the evidence in this book, mate, that I really want to get to you. So please hit me back, and peace, love, and respect. Hey, sorry, I just wanted to add Joe Rogan and Alex, mate. My name's Tony White. I'm from Australia. I'm very willing to do a polygraph test to any information that's in that book that I've provided. And the information in there is the most truth that we can get inside of this physical construct. And anyone else out there that doesn't know why I've just put up this rant, I suggest that you go into my community channel and you watch Joe Rogan Experience number 1255, Alex Jones Returns, or you look that up on YouTube right now and you go watch it for the entire 4 hours, because I'm only 48 minutes in, and what's explained is the most truth that you're ever going to get of this reality. And I'm quite surprised to hear it come out of Alex Jones, but well done, mate. Well done. That's all I can say there. And my props go out to everything in this interview. It is an amazing interview, and I hope that the world recognises exactly what is said in this interview. All right, peace.